Hello, hello, hello. We are tonight's entertainment. There's a war brewing on the internet, one where people who deserve to get owned are actually, in fact, getting owned. So why don't we meet tonight's characters? We'll start with Vaush, horse enthusiast.
At the end of the day, and I really hope you internalize this, you got blown the fuck out. And it's not because your points are bad, it's because your points are bad and you're stupid.
You're fat.
Keffles.
Tally responds, I think I'm like 5 inches. And Sasha says, okay, bet. Tally responds, you? And Sasha says, around the same. Wait, what happened to Mommy Big Dick? This is Mommy Big Dick.
Wait, she went by Mommy Big Dick online, I forgot.
Yeah, 5 inches, and she went by Mommy Big Dick.
Now this is just straight fire content. Amazing and beautiful. I could not have done it better myself.
I gotta find Mommy Average Dick. I bet she's out there in the world. She's probably real humble about it.
And of course, a major recurring cast member in the Tom Dark cinematic universe, Tipster. A round of applause, everyone, for Tipster. We love to see you out here, buddy. Big fan. Cheers my dudes.
I want that on the record. Tipster has interest in fucking horses. Okay? Let's just put that out there.
All of these people are in hot water right now. Their unbased skeletons are coming out of every closet in the land to bite them in the ass. And it all started with Vosch.
See, this is an example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to.
Whoopsies, didn't mean to open that one. Vosch is a leftist political streamer. He used to be known as Irish Laddie way back in the day and came from Destiny's community. He was originally there because he was a frequent poster on Reddit Says. Now back in the day, this was a social justice warrior subreddit known for brigading other subs. This was like during Gamergate, basically like early to mid 2010s, which is also when Vosch began calling into Destiny's streams to talk about his beliefs. And even back then, he was an avowed Marxist or communist, whatever you really want to call it, and he was someone who took the position that any action for your political movement against your enemy, whether honest or dishonest, is just to reach your political ends. Basically, you know, the ends justify the means, therefore any means for leftism or socialism or communism is just to embark on the communist revolution, which is never going to happen.
Can't we just get along?
The problem is when you start to relabel what your opponents are talking about into some like crazy strawman shit that nobody believes in, I feel like you just heard everything. Nothing gets done. There's no valuable conversation anymore.
But what is there to be said about it? Gamergate is a harassment movement that was created by 4chaners who are mad because some indie dev.
Come on.
As time passed, Irish Laddie continued to be a part of Destiny's community. The two would talk on stream, and he sort of became a fan favorite in the rotating guests. He was an interesting guy to have on. They always had good conversations, and they were somewhat thought-provoking, right? He always had something mildly interesting to say, although I admit sometimes what he was saying was just straight up retarded, and that was the appeal. That is, until the allegations. In early 2019, Destiny was approached with a series of allegations regarding Irish Laddie. The complaint was that he was sexually harassing various women inside of the DGG community. He was basically spamming this girl named Poppy, saying, "Look at my penis, look at it, freaking look at it, hey, look at my dick."
For like a series of messages like, I know you want to see my dick, but you're a spiteful and I know you'd share my dick pics around, even though it's in the exact upper spectrum of your preferred dick size range, right? For messages like these, it's pretty clear that you already know that this person doesn't like you, but you're still making these like highly sexual advances, even after they've explicitly, like continually not engaged with anything you've said.
Based?
What's he gonna do? Oh!
He's pulling his cock out!
But after that became sort of a big allegation. Destiny banned Irish Laddie, obviously, and he had to go on to do his own thing without the help of this bigger community to leech off of. Now, he did address what happened, first of all, and he sort of danced around what happened a little bit, but in the end, he seemed to admit that what he did was not okay at the very least, if not, you know, full-on sexual harassment. So I guess it's good that he admitted it or something.
But since then, I have had more time to look at those logs. I have grown somewhat as a person over the past year and a half, and I feel differently about those logs now and about my behavior. When I was on Destiny's stream, I said that I had behaved cringily. I believe that I said, again, imperfect memory, that I had been at times a little creepy, that I had pushed boundaries, that I had been overly facilitated towards sexual conversation. And people called me a harasser, a sexual harasser. And I thought, no, I'm not a sexual harasser. I just did those things I just described. I just pushed boundaries. I just talked about sex maybe too much. I just was perhaps not as cognizant of the conversational partner's discomfort as I could have been. Do those things make me a sexual harasser? And I've thought about it over the past few days. The question seems a little leading. You can probably tell where I got. And the answer is that it doesn't really matter what I think. The logs are public. They're out there. People can see them. People have read them. And then they have accused me of engaging in sexual harassment. And far be it from me, somebody who smashes linguistic prescriptivists, to say that I've engaged in those behaviors, but not sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is what we define it to be, and the definition seems to have been laid out.
And to Vaush's credit, following this, there seems to have not been another instance like this, and he managed to build a career for himself, despite being cut off from the community that built his initial following. This isn't to say there haven't been bumps along the way, like when he compared Kyle Rittenhouse to Iron Man.
Listen, all I know is I've seen a lot of Marvel movies, and in the part where the good guy gets framed, and he turns around and there are a bunch of angry cops and civilians staring at him, he drops the gun and puts his hand up in the air, and he doesn't f***ing unleash the f***ing Iron Man laser and cut down 300 people. Who are threatening him implicitly by surrounding him and not allowing him free access out. And
he said a lot of other straight up retarded shit, but he's still thriving on YouTube to an extent, to a pretty loyal audience of people who watch his stuff.
What are you, a fucking liberal? Jesus Christ!
But now things are tumbling down a bit for Vosch because he accidentally revealed something very, very saucy to his audience. And it ended up absolutely exploding on the internet, and everybody is talking about it. As you guys know, I obviously covered this little part recently, right? So this artwork of a horse absolutely destroying a Japanese lolly girl thing, which is, if you don't know what that is, just look it up. I don't want to explain this shit again, but it was very weird, it was very foul, and as a result, a lot of people began scrutinizing Vosch. I made a video about this already where I showed some of the more strange clips of Vosch defending the indefensible.
We've all jerked at the lolly at some point or another. We have at some point in our lives been going fucking crazy on some hentai site, and we've been stroking as hard and fast as we can, and then after we nut, we go back, look over our history tab, and we go like, oh geez, oh boy, some of these girls looked pretty young. Okay, I don't give a all right? Should consuming child porn be legal? I think that would be, yes, more legal and more ethically consistent. Yes, 100%.
So the entire internet is dogpiling this guy, right? Commentary channels like Nicholas Diorio and Bo Blacks are destroying him. Not that it was super hard to, destroy him in the first place, but it was definitely a bad look, one might say. Ethan Klein tore him a new asshole on the H3 podcast, where he blew it all up to an insanely large audience, much bigger than any of this community, right? And so at this point, Vosch is like, shit, I gotta explain myself. So he ended up making a 2-hour-long response video to everything, talking about it and talking about his position and how he feels about all of this, right? Now, I must make it clear that I do not like Vosch. I find him to be dishonest, annoying, and cringe.
My dad works at Google, and I will have him ban you from everything everywhere.
And obviously there's, this new thing, which is not great either. What? But he did do one funny thing once, and I think he deserves some level of respect for that. In this video, I drop an N-bomb. Big one. Hard R. I did this to show my interlocutors that their language doesn't impress me, that their slurs don't frighten or disarm me. You can see from their reactions that it worked. They were clearly taken aback. It was a power move, which I'm entirely unashamed of, but I understand how that language may offend some of you. This is an example of what I would call invocation of a slur's power for good, but that's a subjective judgment. I invite you all to discuss this in the comments, critically or otherwise. Yeah, man, that's that's why I did it too.
Hey, yo. Blacks be the real racists.
But Vosch apparently is not a big boy. He cannot defend himself. Instead, he needs a league of increasingly strange people to step up to the plate to defend him against the allegations being levied at his character. The first of which being... Yahoo! Keffles is a political streamer, but compared to Destiny, she's not very popular. Actually, compared to Vosch, she's not very popular. Compared to anyone, she's not very popular. Her channel is fucking dead because she's bad at making content. The only place she's ever been popular is on Twitter, where she begs for validation for her dumbass opinions. And for a while, she got it. She spearheaded the Drop Kiwi Farms movement back in the day, where she claimed the website was responsible for the death of a few different trans people. She claimed she was targeted by Kiwi Farms and raised hell on social media to make herself look like a victim. The police showed up up at her home where she claimed she was mistreated and misgendered, and she claimed she had to flee her hometown of London, Ontario to go to Ireland. To do so, she started a GoFundMe where she raised $100,000 from her audience. I need your help because I can't do this alone. I started a GoFundMe after being victimized by the London Police Services for being the victim of a hate crime. I need to move immediately, recoup my losses, and to build a legal fund to protect my rights. I've been subject to emotional damages, financial damages, blatant violations of the Human Rights Act, and discrimination against me on the basis of gender identity and expression. I was also subject to unjust seizures that not only affected my livelihood, but has severely disrupted the work my fiance is doing in their doctorate program, which has the potential to impact whether or not my fiance finishes their doctorate. Because there is no policy in my city against swatting, there's no guarantee this will not happen again, and my home is not safe. Her home is not safe. She needed help. So she went to Ireland, and with this money, she was promising to go after the London, Ontario Police Department in order to fight back against their transphobia. I mean, she says she's building a legal fund. At the time, she also had the support of the mainstream media, who claimed Kiwi Farms was erroneously attacking her and getting her swatted. She needed help.
Claire Sorrenti says a false email with her address was sent to London City Council, claiming she had killed her mother and was intending to shoot people at City Hall who were straight.
She also managed to get Kiwi Farms shut down at the time by targeting their DDoS protection company, Cloudflare. This spurred on a period of the site being up and then down and then up and then down, constantly switching domains, and for a time only being accessible through the Onion router, which is a browser that people use to access the deep web. As you can imagine, this made the site somewhat difficult to use and made growth basically impossible.
A web of hate. Kiwi Farms, that's an online forum that prides itself on free speech, which includes a lot of pure bigotry and harassment. Kiwi Farms has been dropped by its internet services company after being linked to violent threats.
At the time, she also hardcore targeted another familiar face, Destiny. She claimed he was in favor of stealthing, which is when you sneak off your rubber during slamming it in that pog pussy so you can shoot your seed deep in the loins of your partner.
Oh yeah, meanwhile he stealths people, which is legitimately a form of rape. Insane shit.
This is just not true, by the way, but she never formally apologized publicly for this. She also tried to get him banned from Twitch, and lo and behold, around the same time, he was banned. She also indefinitely got him banned on Twitter at the time.
After noticing my quote tweet, Sorrenti quote tweeted my tweet at 11:17 p.m. UTC in an attempt to get my account reported and banned. She's a big fan of this. Quote tweet somebody, mass report them. Hi Twitter support, this is Omnidesk, uses the account blah blah blah, ban evasion, blah blah blah. She always does this.
At the time, there was a lot of momentum behind Keffles.
So Keffals usually kind of dresses up like tomboyish, right? Can we just agree that she cleans up real nice? You know what I'm saying? Like when she, maybe puts on a little bit of lipstick and, puts on a nice outfit and stuff like that. She cleans up like a shiny new penny. Is that wrong for me to say? I don't think so. She's a good looking gal.
He's dodging because it's like, yeah, dude, if you had a wife, you would watch her have sex with another woman. It's okay to be a cuck. It's fine.
I'm fucking high thinking about you.
She would get tens of thousands of likes on every tweet, and she wielded her audience to get people who disagreed with her banned, sometimes very successfully. She tried to get Nicholas Diorio banned back in the day because he talked her on Twitter. What a fucking week. I get associated with getting both Destiny and Lauren Southern banned on Twitch, and now the final boss of transphobes is trying to coordinate a dox on me. When you do the right thing, you make the right enemies. But with time, this momentum failed. That GoFundMe I mentioned? Well, she just pocketed that money. She did file a human rights complaint against the cops, which means nothing, and it's free. And ever since then, she's been bleeding followers, trying desperately to get her YouTube channel off the ground, which has not happened because she's extremely boring and just not entertaining, and just sort of existing on Twitter. And Kiwi Farms is now back up.
Okay.
But in February of 2023, she ended up getting a little taste of her own medicine when her community turned on her with a bunch of allegations of racism, ableism, and some other things.
Hold on, read break. I need a read break. Give me a read break for like two minutes. Give me a read break, okay? I can't keep listening to read.
Now this is funny to see, but Keffles was kind of at rock bottom here in terms of relevancy. Like she was getting like 100 likes a tweet. Since then, she's been able to build up a little bit of goodwill and actually get some people to follow her Twitter again. And she's managed to build up a little bit of an audience again, right? And she just had to ruin it by defending Vaush. So I guess instead of like normal streaming, she's now portraying herself as a little chibi character thing. Oh, it's so cute. I wonder what it looks like in real life. Oh my God. Zer is beautiful.
She cleans up like a shiny new penny.
So she made this video to defend Vosch, where her biggest point is, well, Chris from Mr. Beast likes lolly, so you should also call out Chris from Mr. Beast if you're mad at Vosch or something.
The thing that bothers me is people who pretend there's no relationship whatsoever between like drawn lolly
an actual attraction to children. Because of course there's a relationship between those things. It's ridiculous to pretend otherwise.
Okay.
Take it from me.
Okay.
That's the end.
Okay.
That's it. I mean, he's right.
That's right.
He just did like a transitive property. Therefore, I want to f kids. Like it's like a clean equation.
Yep.
He says, I watch Lolly, and people who watch Lolly want to f kids.
Chris enjoys LollyCon. She's arguably one of the largest trans public figures in the world. Host to a channel that is beloved by millions of children. Where is this energy for protecting kids, Ethan? Or do you not care about children and only care about attacking low-hanging fruit that can't fight back? I find this selective moral outrage to be rather telling. It either points to the fact that you don't care about child abuse, or that you only care about it when you can use it to feather and tar people you don't like.
For those who are not aware, there are these old tweets from Chris Tyson from like 2016, where at the time, he said he was a big Shadman fan, and he also said, he said that.
Oh no.
And so Keffels' biggest defense is, hey, this famous trans person likes Lolly, and Vosch also likes it, so let's talk about Chris too, if you want to be morally consistent. But I would actually agree. For the first time with Keffels, I would agree. Let's get the conversation started. Let's get it actually fucking going. I want to talk about it. You want to talk about it. Let's talk about Chris from Mr. Beast liking LollyCon stuff.
Shout out to Chris, but I love Sunny.
This whole situation has honestly ruined anime for me so fucking much that I never want to watch anime again. I don't want anything to do with anime. I got my waist bin here, and I got some of my anime. We got Death Note, one of my favorites. It, throw it in the bin. We got some Dragon Ball Z, another great anime show. Throw it in the fucking bin.
Well, with Vosh's past being relitigated, other people involved here also had their past looked into. And as many of you know, Keffels has a pretty checkered past herself. This brings us to the Catboy Ranch allegations.
18 naked cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch.
Seeing as Keffels is trending, let's just remember a 30-year-old man, Keffels, sent out these Catboy collars to underage children in his Catboy Ranch grooming Discord. And here we have a screenshot of someone named Femboy Finance tweeting out that everyone in the server gets sent collars, saying property of Catboy Ranch on them to show that they're a part of this server, this little online community. Now, this rumor has been circulating for a long time, and I was pretty against covering it, at length at least, in my previous videos about Keffels, for the sole reason that I felt like I had enough against her to show her dishonesty without playing into those allegations, which it seemed to me were an easy point for her at the time anyway, to be like, well, they're spreading fake grooming allegations, therefore their opinion is invalidated, because at the time, nobody believed the Catboy Ranch stuff at all, and I had enough to show that she was a liar without that. But this has been sent into the stratosphere now, and the Kiwi Farms thread has gotten a bunch more attention, as various YouTubers spend the time to look into it. For example, Mudahar tweeted out saying he wanted to look into the Catboy Ranch allegations, and some smaller publications have also made articles talking about this and how they are curious as to what the truth is here, but it's kind of unproven. And I will admit, the Catboy Ranch stuff, we don't have definitive proof of Keffels grooming a minor one-on-one, talking to them and sexting them, right? We don't have that. What we have is, I would argue, maybe even darker. So let's get into it. The central point of the ongoing controversy revolves around allegations that this Catboy Ranch has been accused of serving as a potential haven for individuals engaging in grooming activities, sparking concerns about Discord child grooming. However, Keffels contends that Catboy Ranch serves as a community on her Twitch platform, providing a space for transgender individuals to connect and avoid feelings of isolation, as highlighted in a March 2022 tweet addressing the Discord server. So what even is Catboy Ranch, and what can be proven about it? Well, we know there was a server called Catboy Ranch stretching back a few years. We know Keffels has admitted to running it. We also know that people who said they were on the server were also, at the time, 16 years old. When told to stay away from minors, she said, "There are both trans teens and parents of trans teens in my Twitch chat, and I'm not going to let some lib debate lord take away from what I do to support my community." Now, the kind of grooming being alleged here is kind of twofold. On one hand, you have people claiming that she is actively, committing the actions of a pedophile on children. And as far as that, we don't have proof of that. There's no evidence of that. So that is, up in the air, and I would say probably she hasn't done that. That being said, what we do know she did is contribute to sending hormones to teenagers to help them transition. What? And this is not a joke. This is not an allegation. This is something she's openly defended, and to this day, there's no way she can walk this back because she actively was promoting this behavior. So we'll start with this account called Chloe, or Bob Posting, which openly is advertising hormones. Keep in mind, this person's not a doctor, and there's no way for teenagers to legally purchase hormones on the internet. But they are, at the very least, here, openly promoting something called the DIY HRT Directory, which was a site dedicated to teaching people how to ingest their own homemade and ordered hormones. This person also bragged about getting more than 500 minors on hormones, which is pretty disgusting. disgusting and, in my opinion, makes this person deserve jail time. I cannot imagine anyone in their right mind supporting someone who's not a doctor and has no parental approval to do so, shipping estrogen to children over the internet. That is f***ing crazy. But all the people involved here are crazy, as Destiny at one point pointed out.
Firstly, it's important to recognize that Sorrenti was a big supporter of the DIY HRT directory. Sorrenti began supporting the directory in June 26th of 2022, tweeting that she is donating thousands of dollars a year to the website so people can access hormone replacement therapy before the age of 18. And follows it with another tweet saying that she will never back down. Chloe acknowledges and thanks Sorrenti for the sponsorship. I am donating thousands of dollars a year to a resource so people affected by hysterical anti-trans laws can access hormone replacement therapy before the age of 18. I do not give a single shit what you think. I am doing nothing wrong, nor will I ever back down. If you guys are wondering why she did back down a few days ago, you're about to find out why. Wow. Thank you, Keffles, for your support for our project. Me and the team give our thanks.
So Keffles was openly supporting this person and this site with money, with her own community lending their support to promoting the image of this service, which, make no mistake, is extremely illegal. And even if it was somehow legal, I'm of the belief that it's extremely wrong to place yourself in a position of authority over thousands of teenagers you have never met and send them hormones against the will of their parents. I don't think kids should be hormonally transitioning anyway, but even if you somehow think that is okay, I think it's a pretty safe argument to make that random strangers on the internet should not be shipping drugs to children. I see this as no different than a stranger online shipping heroin to a minor. It is disgusting. And Keffles is like flirting with this person and funding them personally, so she herself is also responsible for sending kids drugs. And she's so cocky about this too, being happy about the work she's done. The dishonesty and deplatforming alone is enough for me to think Keffles is a bad person. Everything else is enough for me to believe she belongs in jail, which is why when people ask me what I think about Keffles on stream, I have probably 10 different ways said that I hope she ends up in a very nice bouncy castle and lives out the rest of her days in peace. Mashallah. Now, the HRT directory itself explained to people how they could purchase homemade drugs made by other trans people behind their parents' backs. It had listings of places to purchase them, and it would come delivered with lolicon packaging just to top it all off, really. This is like Giggly Goon Clown tier shit. And it's being promoted by someone like Keffles, who is someone who is respectable to, well, to no one except for Vaush and Tipster, but still, she's got an audience, she's got an active YouTube channel, she's got a Twitter account, and from these accounts, she was promoting a website which sends hormones to children. That is fucking crazy. Now, the DIY HRT directory in the form I showed you has not been up for some time. The reason why is when Keffles was peaking in internet relevance, it became a big deal, and people began looking into who was running the site and exploring legal consequences for them. As you can imagine, they got scared and they ran. And she also went on the H3 podcast where she tried to cover it up as well and make it look like she actually wasn't doing what she was clearly doing, which is giving hormones to children.
I mean, some of them do actually have the support of their families, but some of them don't. Like, some of them are in like really fundamentalist Christian households, and right. The only place they really feel safe talking about being trans is on the internet.
Mm-hmm. And so where do you guys do this? Is it like a Discord or something, or like a community?
Oh, it's like a Twitch stream.
Oh, just on Twitch?
Yeah.
So it's all just out in the public?
Yeah.
Because they make me it sound like you have some kind of secret or some community spot that's not publicly seen where you're talking with kids and stuff, but that's not even the case.
No.
A few minutes later.
I want to give you an opportunity to talk about this because there's people who are pointing this out that on your website, keffles.gg, you'll have a link here that says do it DIY HRT.
Yeah. So it's a website where people can learn about DIY hormones. Basically, I mean,
Later on in that same show, she's pushed to admit that there is a separate directory she links to from her own website. I don't believe she ever brings up any of the locked rooms in her Discord as well. I don't think we included that in here, but... The original claim, Ethan asks about homemade hormones.
And then they also say, I guess one of their problems is that you are supporting young people, young trans people who didn't have access to hormones. You are telling them how to make homemade hormones.
Oh my God. No, I don't know how to make homemade hormones. I noticed the new thing is they're saying that I'm teaching people how to make hormones in their bathtub, which just sounds insane.
While it sounds like an extreme claim, Chloe one of the co-founders of the site, has actually given tips on brewing testosterone and estrogen in a bathtub, as well as making several jokes and references to doing so. She's also referenced minors and pink pilling, the act of convincing someone they're trans, on multiple occasions as well. These are a lot of old posts by her on Twitter and in Discord. Transphobic parents, doesn't provide child opportunities to get on legit HRT. Surprised that the child is self-medicating. Chloe, pink pilling minors is based, actually, if they reach out and express a desire for HRT. Chloe, I have unironically pink pilled like half a dozen minors. And by pink pill, I mean pointing them to HRT resources after they reach out. Best case against do-it-yourself are the people against DIY who don't know that T is literally a steroid. No one tell him I've helped more than one minor or ... Pretend to be me in the replies. I just got a triple-digit number of people access to necessarily medical care last weekend. This is just true, though. Was I supposed to say something like, I groomed a Discord full of minors into being trans and sold them bathtub estrogen laced with meth? This is also true.
But make no mistake, these people should be in jail. They should be on trial and then put in jail for a very long time. But as of now, they're walking around on the streets after having sent hormones to hundreds of children. These people get extremely verbose at the idea of trans people being groomers, which is something often pushed by conservatives like Matt Walsh. And I would agree, not all trans people are groomers. That is a ridiculous claim. At the same time, these people are literally shipping drugs, steroids, hormones, whatever you want to call them, to kids against their parents' will and making a secret of it. This is an extremely disturbing revelation, much more so than the lolly thing in my opinion. That is bad. This is abhorrent and deserving of some kind of French Revolution type deal because there are actually minors' lives at stake. I may do a main channel video about this with some time. I would like to see what else happens first and see if there's any more developments, but this is a very dark story here and the people involved should have their faces in books about how to protect your kids so you can recognize people who are coming for them. Genuinely disappointed seeing what H3H3 did to Vosch earlier tonight. You'd think after everything Hassan's community as well as others in the past have done to misrepresent Ethan, he wouldn't be so quick to do the same to others. Yet here we are. He even used the same out of context clips right-wingers have used to defame Vosch time and time again. Okay, so I watched the H3 segment on this, and there's like no greater context to be provided. It's just videos of Vosch being a freak, and then Ethan being like, oh yeah, he also had weird degenerate shit on his hard drive, which is all stuff that happened. I don't even know if Tipster is a real person. It feels like this is written by Chat GPT or something. The Chat GPT Vosch defense. I hope Ethan is happy, labeling me and my community that is disproportionately made up of trans people all files for simply asking him to do better research has made all the most insane anti-LGBT freaks come out of the woodworks to mock, harass, and dehumanize us. So you're mad that people are making fun of you on Twitter. To be clear, this is a person who defended Lolicon openly and said there's absolutely nothing wrong, whatever, and was also funding a website that sends hormones to kids. That is on the record. That is indisputable. People being mean to Keffles should be the least of her concerns. That is a drop in the bucket of things that should happen to Keffles. I mean, it's just fucking insane. These people are sick in the head. And this guy Tipster is friends with Keffles as well, to be clear.
In the middle of little.
Let me ask the audience a question here. What would you think of a 35-year-old man who is friends with a 30-year-old trans person who sends hormones to kids? What would you think about that guy? I certainly would not think anything positive about them. With this stuff being discussed again at all, and Keffles' deplatforming powers being severely hampered, it seems to me like we are inching slightly closer to those who deserve punishment actually being punished. Or maybe nothing will happen at all. Maybe that's the real black pill and they're all just going to get away with it. But at this point, I think Vosch is really just the first domino, no matter what, and some of the most disgusting people online being exposed. And it's my pipe dream that some real action can come of that, whatever it may be. If it doesn't, well, at least it's documented all out there on the internet so everyone knows what a piece of shit all these people are. What? Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. And be sure to become a member. For $5 a month, they get the members-only podcasts and exclusive videos that only members get. Thanks so much for your support.